Hello, my subscribers. So, guess I'll scoot over a bit. There's Judy right there yet again. Thought I'd get her in the video. She's still laying in the same position as the spoiler-free one, but anyway, let's go ahead and get right on in, as you can tell by my shirt, to the Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness spoiler-filled review. So, yeah, wow. Sam Raimi definitely likes to get his movies going off strong, especially if they're a sequel, because Spider-Man 2 started with the awesome scene of Spider-Man going around and delivering the pizzas, whatnot, and keeping it high energy. And I forgot to mention in the spoiler-filled review, America Chavez is the driving force of this movie, as she's the new character introduced who can go between multiverses. And an idea in this movie, which I wanted to highlight here, was that dreams are going into alternate realities, which is a real cool concept that definitely seems like something you'd find in any comic book. And apparently America does not dream at all. And frickin' sorry, my cat was messing with my chair. Anyway, that was her abilities. And Steven and Wong get wrapped up in her trying to stay safe, as Wanda Maximoff is corrupted by this force, who I think is the real antagonist of the movie, the Darkhold, not Wanda Maximoff. Yes, she does some fucked up things in this movie, but I feel the Darkhold is the true villain. But anyway, here's America. But yeah. Anyway, as Steven gets wrapped up in this, it also leads to a real nice scene where he goes to, well, part of his arc in the story, which is also really nice, that I'll get into here in a little bit more, is Dr. Palmer, played by Rachel McAdams yet again. He's at her wedding and has to deal with the fact that she never really wanted to stay in a relationship with him and just wanted to be friends, that she's married to another man. And also highlighting an aspect of the blip with his assistant, Nicodemus West, asking about if it was worth it, his sacrifice, when he says to Tony Stark there was no other way, when he gave Thanos the Time Stone. So that was nice, too, to acknowledge if those costs were worth it in the end. As that was definitely nice to see the blip, as it's going to be more acknowledged what happened in that 5-year time period between Avengers, Infinity War, and Endgame. But yeah, anyway, it also leads to a nice fight with one of his villains from the comics, Gargantos, who's called Shuma Gorath in the comics, but I guess because of a licensing issue they called him Gargantos. Nonetheless, real great scene, and Sam Raimi definitely shows his style yet again. And here's that. But yeah, right after this is when Strange needs to recruit Wanda Maximoff to help out with America and whatnot and saving the multiverse. And he finds out when he goes to visit Wanda that she's gonna be, she's been corrupted by the Darkhold, and after that, it leads to Strange scrambling to protect America by going to the Comertage with all the sorcerers going up against her, but their power is nothing compared to hers, which leads to some really, where Raimi shows his horror aspects real great, where she kind of like twists her body going through some water, kind of like Pennywise. And boy, the way Wanda's filmed, it's definitely like a horror movie villain. Some of the frickin' scares definitely got me too. It's Sam Raimi showing his talent yet again. And also America has trouble controlling her powers to go between the multiverses, which then leads to another scene where Strange and her go through many different universes, similar to when the Ancient One tapped Steven, and he went through the multiverse and he does it yet again to save America. And I kind of like too how once they get to the universe where a good chunk of this movie is going to take place in, Earth 828, I believe is what it's called, or 833. I've heard it called both, so I think they're still figuring it out. Because the Prime MCU, unless things have changed, is 616, even though initially it's called Earth 19999. And it is what it is. I think it's still being sorted out. Anyway, frickin' Strange ends up throwing up, and him and America visit this universe where Strange was thought to be a hero, dying and defeating Thanos, and it leads to the typical Bruce Campbell cameo as a pizza vendor, where in this universe pizza's made into little balls. He's Pizza Papa, and Bruce gets all mad at America for stealing food. He ends up casting a spell on him, having him keep hitting himself for 2 weeks, which has been confirmed by Sam Raimi via reference to The Evil Dead, where Ash's right hand gets corrupted. And gosh, I just knew it was going to be in there, and I absolutely loved the Bruce Campbell cameo and that reference. So anyway, here's the legend himself, Bruce the King. But yeah, after that, we end up meeting the Illuminati, where Carl Mordo ends up drugging Strange in America, and we see the members of Captain Carter, not the same one from What If, but a live-action Captain Carter, along with the fan casting itself being confirmed, which I'm hoping is a test run for him being the real deal in the 616 universe, and that being Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic, along with Black Bolt from the Inhumans series, and also Captain Marvel, except this time it's Maria Rambeau as Captain Marvel instead, and also a variant of Professor X, played by Patrick Stewart, that has his hover chair, and also a nice little musical cue to X-Men the Animated Series when he comes in. And let's just say it leads to a slaughtering where Wanda wipes the floor with the Illuminati. Before I go into that, here's the MCU Illuminati. But yeah, in this universe, they also faced a huge fight against Thanos, with this Strange corrupting the Darkhold, or being corrupted by the Darkhold, and they end up killing him for the greater good. And but what I like is this variant of Professor X quotes a Professor X line from X-Men Days of Future Past about someone not being lost because they've stumbled, which I really liked, as he still gives him the benefit of the doubt. And it leads to Black Bolt standing up to Wanda, because in this universe there's the Ultron sentries. But yeah, anyway, after that didn't work, she ends up removing the mouth of Black Bolt, and he ends up screaming and blowing his own head off, because his power is to scream that causes devastating damage, which is why he doesn't talk. And Mr. Fantastic also references and name drops Invisible Woman and his 2 kids, Franklin Richards and Valeria, so really was geeking out over that reference. And oh gosh, Wanda just brutally kills him by unraveling him like he's spaghetti. And Captain Marvel also goes in and puts up a pretty decent fight, but as she throws her shield, Wanda then throws it at him, and she's split in half. And let's just say if that was edited a little different, I think we'd have our first R-rated MCU film. Nonetheless, brutal as all hell, and same thing with the way she kills Captain Marvel, who lasts the longest up until she collapses a statue in on herself. And Professor X also tries to save, I guess, Wanda's subconscious, bring her from being corrupted, but Wanda shows up like a horror movie villain, snaps his neck, and ends up killing him, which then leads to America and Steven going in to find the Vishanti, which I guess is the opposite of the Darkhold, and it leads to what is considered by all sorcerers their taboo, dream walking. So might as well get into it. We have Zombie Doctor Strange, where Steven goes dream walking after a fight against Sinister Strange, where they end up using musical notes when Strange hits a piano, and they end up using the music, like a magical music being personified, with various musical instruments, and it's only something that Sam Raimi can make so awesome. So anyway, here's that. But yeah, frickin' Frickin', that was pretty damn badass. And also throughout this, a variant of Christine is with him, as she's from the universe this Illuminati was in. And she ends up helping him, which the main 616 said something to him that he always has to be the one holding the knife, making the big decisions, which is definitely something Strange has been doing up to this point from Infinity War. And also with Spider-Man No Way Home, because of how he said that the villains had to be killed in the grand scale of the multiverse. And this one also, but decides he wants to have Dr. Palmer's help. And he ends up being attacked by the souls of the damned with these zombies, and they're all screaming and whatnot. And the zombies, the sounds remind me of the Deadeyes from The Evil Dead, and I'm just loving it with all the Sam Raimi references. Anyway, they end up forming a cape on him, and him and Wong team up to hold down Wanda so they can save America, because at this point she's kidnapped her and is about to sacrifice her to get her power, as Wanda wants to raise her kids and have access to the multiverse to live with them. And frickin' just overall, definitely nice when all the souls of the damned are attacking Wanda, and they actually hold her off for a bit until they can't. And America ends up teleporting Wanda to the alternate reality where she's in her Scarlet Witch uniform, and her alternate kids don't enjoy seeing her and think she's a witch, and also the variant who she previously possessed and caused all the murder and chaos of the death of the Illuminati and all that, ends up forgiving her in a real nice sweet moment where she comforts her by holding her head and saying that no, they will be loved. And Wanda realizes the error of her ways and ends up destroying the Darkhold in all universes. And where the Darkhold was made, I don't think she's dead. When it collapses in on her, I feel like Wanda will be back in some way. I'm not writing her off as being dead. She'll be back in some way. Even if it's not the same one, it'll probably be a variant. But nonetheless, I don't think this really ruins WandaVision's arc. Don't agree with that at all. And definitely real nice. And also, too, the moments of Strange not holding the knife was real nice, where he allowed the help of America and Dr. Palmer. And also, it was nice to see him bow to Wong, since Doctor Strange got snapped, he became the new Sorcerer Supreme. So he's the second in command now, and he accepted that. And because he used the Darkhold, it inflicts a heavy toll. And at the end of the movie, he ends up getting a third eye as he thinks everything's going all good. Then you see him collapse, and a third eye is on his head. Totally a Sam Raimi twist. Then when you go to the post-credit scene, Clea, his love interest from the comics, who's also the niece of Dormammu, and we see the Dark Dimension shows up, played by Charlize Theron. So yeah, definitely glad to see that, because since she's on the more mystical side, she's also been the Sorcerer Supreme and his love interest, and I can't wait to see where that's going to go. And the final post-credit scene is just the spell from Bruce Campbell from Pizza Papa wearing off, and he ends up looking at the camera saying, "That's it! It's over! Finally!" Oh gosh, just absolutely loved it. This movie is definitely delivered. Don't agree with some of the criticisms that say that this movie needs an extended cut like Batman v Superman or anything like that. This movie does not have that feeling at all. Some even trying to say that this needs a Snyder cut like new version. Yeah, no, this movie is nothing like that. Along with some saying that Sam Raimi got screwed over again like he did with Spider-Man 3. No, this movie does not feel that way. And some of what happened in this movie with the imagery and the borderline R-rated scenes, no, that did not happen. Nonetheless, highly recommend this movie, so go out and see it if you haven't already. So like, comment, subscribe, and peace.